welcome ladies to this ring. Give me a hell yeah!
You know, I'm slightly annoyed. You know that?
Why is that?
Well, first off, welcome to SCI Wrestling. I'm WB Ward.
And I'm Chip Douglas.
What's really irritating me, you know, I'm a WWE fan, originally WWF fan, always have been, probably always will be, but every time I watch an episode like last night, I'm longing for the day when they start the show off with a, I don't know, what do they call it? Oh yeah, a wrestling match. You know, it seems like they got to go through this Broadway musical before they actually get to the action on it.
Well, they have to tell the story before they get to the stage.
I know, but you know, they used to do that though. I mean, they did it every show. As a matter of fact, I remember the announcers always making this big deal of, we get right to the action here on WWF now, but we don't get to the action anymore in WWE.
Yeah, but back then it was like Andre the Giant versus, you know.
That's right, they had talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me strike these potential people off our list of guests. Okay, so what's happening, Chip?
Oh, nothing much. Enjoying the week. How about you?
I'm not going to use the ex-wife joke again. We did that 2 weeks in a row. I'm doing okay. I'm enjoying this somewhat late break of spring, even though it's now officially summertime.
It is summer, and here in the great state of Oklahoma, a little bit hot.
Well, it was a little warm. Yesterday wasn't too bad. We got a little bit of showers today.
Yeah, not too bad.
What's happening this week in wrestling?
Well, you know, first, I just want to start the show by reminding everyone of our Twitter handle,
which is
SCI_Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Our YouTube page, SCI Wrestling, which, for the record, for those that are listening and that watch the YouTube, we know about the women wrestling that pop up when you do type in our name. We are aware of that, and the problem will be fixed momentarily.
Oh,
so
I wasn't aware we could fix that.
We'll find out.
I was kind of hoping they would be one of our guests on the show.
Well, they might be. They might be. Just have them tweet me.
I'll tweet them.
And then also our Facebook page, which is Squared Circle Insider Wrestling.
Excuse me.
Go there, follow us, enjoy our tweets, and then live a happy life. But first, I want to start off the show with a little bit of a sad note. You ready for a down?
Yeah, go ahead.
Most people probably won't know this name, but Jackie Fargo died at 85 years old this past week. He
actually left a pretty big imprint in wrestling.
He really did. You know, he wasn't really mainstream in WCW or WWF or WWE for any time, but what he was famous for was back in the 60s and 70s. And Jerry Lawler took to Twitter after he passed away because Jackie Fargo was really influential in the Memphis area. And Jerry King Lawler made the comment of him being his his mentor and father-like figure. So just the fact that he was able to play such a huge role in Jerry Lawler's life has to be some kind of an impactful thing in wrestling.
Didn't he come up with a move?
He did. He actually was the one that created the Fargo Strut, which is the one that you famously see that Ric Flair does, or for those that actually watch Jeff Jarrett, that he does as well.
Didn't the Freebirds also do that?
I think Michael PSAs did it as well.
And I tried doing that one time, and I just looked like a jerk. I mean, that's just one of those things you either look very, very cool or very, very dumb, and, well, there's no guessing on which category I fall in.
Were you sober doing it is the question.
Do you need to be?
I don't think so.
Okay, I wasn't. I was just...
Okay, that'd be the only time I would attempt it.
Excuse me. Okay, a lot going on within the world of wrestling. Had a big DVD come out today.
Yes.
Big DVD. War Games. What are we looking at on that?
War Games was a famous pay-per-view that was developed in WCW, which was established in the late 80s, went all the way through the early 1990s and the mid 1990s, which involved 2 rings with steel cages that surrounded both rings, and then you generally had 4-on-4 or 5 versus 5 in these war game type of battles. One of my favorite match gimmicks that was ever created in wrestling, and to this day, one that I wish WWE would bring back. I really wish they would bring back the War Games pay-per-view and do that match in particular. Somehow or another. I know they kind of adapted the Elimination Chamber around the War Games, but I was just so happy to see that the War Games DVD was actually going to be coming out. So big props to WB for doing that.
Finally glad to see that, because I'd forgotten about those matches that had the double ring setup.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'd forgotten all about that. I remember that kind of caused quite a stir within the wrestling world, because there were a lot of people who really did not like that. I would imagine that was a little bit of confusion, because which ring would the wrestlers go to when they came out?
The one with the door on it.
No, I mean, but before they put up the cages and everything, for the big show at the end, they just had the two rings sitting there without a cage around them.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if I were a wrestler, how the heck would I know?
Well, in the mid '90s, when the Lucha Libres started to come in, they loved it. Because of the fact that they were able to do adapt with the two rings a whole lot easier than other wrestlers. So, they were able to do, a little bit more springboards off the ropes in the other rings. Mm-hmm. So they were able to adapt really well and use the two rings effectively.
I'm surprised actually they didn't go with three rings, because at least then you would have a little bit of, visually you would have a little bit of a balance, because you would have the ring in the middle, and that could have served as the one for the main ring, when they were just having singles matches or something like that. Plus, you would have the added benefit of being able to bounce and forth on either side of that, rather than just hopping back between two. But maybe they just didn't want to be considered a three-ring circus. And I wasn't setting it up just for that lame joke.
They did do that for World War III.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, they
I didn't remember
a 60-man battle royal with three rings.
Okay,
So,
I did not remember.
It did look like a three-ring circus.
Did it? Was it one of those things where it was just too much going on?
Yeah, because they tried to adapt from the Royal Rumble, and it just didn't work.
Okay, moving on. We were speaking a little bit of Twitter. I keep wanting to call that tweeter.
Close.
But the tweet of the week.
Oh boy, I had the privilege of finding Iron Sheik's Twitter page.
Ooh!
And for those of you who have not followed Iron Sheik, please do, because you find some very humorous things. So here's a tweet of the week brought to you by the Iron Sheik.
Okay.
And I'm reading this. I'm quoting this.
Uh-huh.
I never have the sex with the Oprah.
I'm very happy to say I fit in that category.
I plead the fifth.
I'm not. I will joyfully announce that from the world. I do not have the sex with Oprah. I read an interesting article about the Sheik this week from, of all places, Yahoo.
Oh, I saw that.
And I felt sorry for this guy. Apparently, he lives in a constant state of pain. And this guy gave his all to professional wrestling, and now he cannot afford insurance. He can't afford the medical procedures that his body is in need of. And usually, whenever, according to this article, whenever somebody asks him for an interview, he almost always responds with, "Now is not a good time. Can you get in touch with me later?" And I started to do that in his dialect, but I didn't want to show any disrespect, because he truly is an icon within the industry, and it's a shame that he's having to live a life like that.
Well, absolutely.
Well, tell you what, coming up here within CSI Radio, coming up here on CSI Wrestling, we got some Raw recap for you next.
I don't believe it. My savings are gone.
Okay, think. Where'd you have them last?
I was home, then I spent them on that vacation in this tiny suit of armor. Now they're gone.
Weird.
Weird? Not really. Not saving now means no money later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free ideas on ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Oh, I broke his little gauntlet.
Oh no.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
If you enjoy Ward's Daily Almanac on the radio, chances are you'd love Ward's Daily Almanac in book form. Now, WB is working on this, but needs your help. To donate, search for Ward's Daily Almanac on Kickstarter.com or go to WBWard.com and click on the word Kickstarter. There you can watch a video about the project and learn about great rewards for giving. That's Kickstarter.com and search for Ward's Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
CSI Wrestling continues, and this, of course, is the entrance music for Alberto Del Rio.
Tequila Taco Bell.
Say that again.
Tequila Taco Bell.
Between the two of them, I always look. I'm waiting for the day when they start the storyline where he and his ring announcer, what's his name?
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Ricardo Rodriguez, yeah. Where he turns on Ricardo Rodriguez and Rodriguez turns into a face, and they start having this big feud between the two of them. I bet you that's coming.
I almost said tattoo.
Tattoo? You know, but Ricardo would have to go into the gym and beef up because, I mean, this guy looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Apparently, he actually has some wrestling ability. Like, he actually wrestled in developmental.
He did.
Apparently, I haven't seen it.
Well, he is not what you would call cut. I swear to God, if you twisted him in half, a bunch of biscuits would pop out.
Oh.
If you poke him in the belly, I wonder if he giggles. I know I do.
One future guest checked off.
Yeah, there's another
list.
one. Another one bites the dust right there. Okay, we do have some interesting storylines to discuss. So which one would you like to tackle first here?
Did you get to watch Monday Night Raw?
I did indeed. As a matter of fact, I saw a little. I had to record it, and I saw it just before we started going into this recording session.
Oh, good. I actually got a good chance to watch most of it. CM Punk and Heyman.
Yes.
Very good promo on CM Punk's part. I thought it was almost like a shoot for the most part. I think he said some stuff that, like CM Punk style, that perhaps he wouldn't normally say. But what he really did really nicely is he still kind of twisted the baby face / heel personality. I think they're still looking for him to be the main babyface, but I think he still played a little bit of that heel really well.
Well, I think that just probably comes naturally for him.
Oh, I agree.
I don't know if he would ever be a what you would call a straight face or not, because quite frankly, I just don't think he has it in him.
Oh, I agree. I think he'd be like a Stone Cold Steve Austin type.
He will be the dark,
face.
what you would call the how did they refer to Stone Cold? I'm trying to remember what the term was.
Amazing.
Well, yeah, amazing. That would definitely fit. But somehow they put him as the bad guy hero or something to that effect.
Vigilante kind of.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Of course, last night, of course, at the end of Raw, or at the end of CM Punk's match, Axel, CM Punk was they had it in the storyline where he was not ambushed, but he was teamed up on by the what are the guys with the millions of dollars?
Primetime players.
Yeah, the primetime players, one of the lamest.
Horrible.
Yeah, that is an awful.
They're great jobbers.
Yeah. Oh, and that's exactly what they are. They are jobbers. Should we explain to the audience what that is, or should we assume that they know what that is?
They know.
Okay. But that's all they are. They are just jobbers because neither one of them have the talent to turn on a light bulb. But, of course, they had Axel come out and save the day when the jobbers started teaming up on CM Punk.
That's good play. Good play.
It was a good play, but I don't know. I still don't see Axel lasting, the gimmick lasting, because I don't think the audience is buying it now.
Let's see what they do with him as CM Punk, because if he gets in the ring of CM Punk, I think CM Punk has the ability to make him look really good, and I think that would get him over really fast if he was put in the ring of CM Punk. You
know, that's the primary function of a heel, of a good heel, is to make your opponent look good.
Yeah.
That is the main function. A lot of people, I think, outside of the industry or inside of the industry, have the misconception that the jobber is the one that's there to make you look good, and that's true to some certain extent.
They should.
But in fact, it's the heel in a lot of cases that actually works extra to make the face look good. And usually, at least within the WWE, the heel is the one calling the shots in the match.
Right.
There are many YouTube videos that definitely supports this, because, they have the mic in the wrong place and you can actually hear them calling out shots for the upcoming moves.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what transpires between Mr. Punk and Mr. Axel.
Be fun to watch.
Mr. Punk. Mr. Punk.
Mr. Punk.
Now, what is his real name?
Like in real life?
Yeah. Doug, Dwight. It starts with a D, I think.
Sure.
It escapes me now.
I don't know.
One of these days we ought to do a name that real name.
Ooh,
name the real name and see if you can name. I'll hit you with a bunch of those. See
Steve
if you can,
Austin. Who is it?
Who is Steve Austin?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I tell you, that one just leaves me stunned. Okay.
Moving on, Money in the Bank.
Yes, we heard a ka-ching ka-ching last night as none other than Miss McMahon came, or
Miss
no,
Stephanie McMahon.
No, Mrs.
Stephanie Helmsley.
Announced the lineup. That's going to be a good show.
And what I'm surprised about more than anything is all, for the most part, baby faces.
Pretty much.
I mean,
Pretty much,
you
yeah.
got CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Randy Orton, Christian, Kane, and RVD.
Yeah. And I did not know, now assuming they were shooting straight with us, I did not know that CM Punk was the only person to win that twice.
You know, I didn't know that either. That's a good point.
Now, again, assuming that, they're not stretching some truth or anything like that.
Of course, I bet he won one time. I know he won one time at WrestleMania, so then he probably won one time at the pay-per-view.
Now, we saw the Usos. The Usos won the triple threat tag team match, which it's been years since I can recall ever seeing a triple threat tag team match.
Not very often do you see that.
I used to really like the way they come out. I think that's really high energy, but I think they really need to work on their rhythm a little bit. That tends to leave a little to the imagination.
Now, you know who their father is?
Yes. Are we talking some kind of relation to Snuka?
No.
Rikishi.
That's their.
But isn't he related to Snuka?
If he is, I'm not aware of it.
How about The Rock?
Yes.
Oh.
I think The Rock is.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. I know who I was thinking of. Yeah, but we're getting back into that family thing again.
Yeah, but I'm really happy with the Usos. I'm really excited to see them start to develop their tag team division even a whole lot more than what they did, and that's going to be, we're going to be talking about more tag teams here in our next segment.
Yep.
It's really good to see that, and I think they'll be a great opponent for the Shield.
I agree. I think they will do well. I would love to see the Shield come down on that.
And one thing I'm really excited about, and I can't wait till they debut him, Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt. I've been watching the videos.
Mm-hmm.
What is this guy, just like an outdoorsman or what?
Well, no, they kind of play off that Cape Fear from Robert De Niro. Mm-hmm. That's where his character's developed. And man, I mean, he captures that character so well. And I think him and his group are going to be very, very well in WWE. Looking forward to them versus the Shield.
Okay.
Rate the show. What do you tell me? Rate the show.
From last night's show? You talking about last night's Raw?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would have put last night's performance at about a 6.
6?
Yeah.
I'll give it a little more than that. I actually give it an 8. I actually enjoyed it.
Well, I had a good time too, but I saw some, I don't know, there were too many mistakes in it for me. Like, for instance, in the Chris Jericho, Alberto Del Rio match, there was a part in there where Chris was up on the top rope and he turns around to swing at Del Rio and catches nothing but air. And of course, Del Rio just flies right across the ring.
I missed that.
Yeah, it's up there just as bold as Dallas. They had, and I saw another, they had some rather glaring errors in last night's show. So that kind of took it away for me a little bit. More CSI Wrestling.
There's hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's 20 of them. Walk to work, walk the dog, have the dog walk you, take a hike, take a bike, skate, dance, hop, jump, do the Humpty Hump, skip seconds, skip dessert, skip to my loo, don't skip breakfast, drink H2O, lower your sodium, raise the roof, shake your booty, stock up on vegetables, and don't forget to eat them. Search We Can online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
If you enjoy Ward's Daily Almanac on the radio, chances are you'd love Ward's Daily Almanac in book form. Now, WB is working on this, but needs your help. To donate, search for Ward's Daily Almanac on Kickstarter.com or go to WBWard.com and click on the word Kickstarter. There you can watch a video about the project and learn about great rewards for giving. That's Kickstarter.com and search for Ward's Daily Almanac or WBWard.com and click Kickstarter.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
And we're back for more CSI Wrestling. I'm WB Ward, and sitting over here is
The Chip Douglas.
Okay, now this, of course, is the ring music for the Shield.
The
and you hear
current tag team champions.
Yep. You hear them talking at the first of that. You hear them saying the words. The words are Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta. Do you know the significance of that?
No.
That is all part of the phonetic alphabet. You've probably heard like pilots referring to Delta. Delta. Oh gosh, now I forgot what the letter F stood for.
Frank?
No, not Frank.
Oh. Frankenfarts?
Frankenfarts. No. W is whiskey. F. Oh, no, I can't believe I forgot that. But anyway, in the phonetic alphabet, Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta spells the name Shield.
Ah.
So all they're doing is they're just simply spelling out their name.
So that's the first part of the theme music?
Yep. Yep, wow. That's when you hear them talking with what's called a high pass filter on it that makes them sound like they're on some kind of a radio or something like that. Huh. That's what they're saying. If you listen real close, you'll hear them say their name and just spell it out for you into the phonetic alphabet.
Well, learn something new every day.
And this is a good tag team. I like them. I don't like the idea of them coming into the crowd. I think they're overdoing that a bit. I just think they're overdoing that too much. But I do like the Shield in the way that they perform. I think they may have had them winning too much. I don't think they're as infallible as what WWE writers are trying to portray them to be.
Right.
But they do make a pretty formidable tag team. And speaking of tag teams,
yes,
you gave me the instruction of pulling out my top 3 tag teams of all time. Yes. But since you're the one that made the challenge, I'm going to let you go first.
You want me to go first?
Or would you rather me?
No.
I mean, you are the producer.
No, I'll go first since I'm the smart one of this one.
Okay. We'll save the good looks for last.
All right. Here's top 3. I really didn't go based off like I did last week when it comes to longevity or titles or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I really didn't do it this way. I basically just kind of did it as my 3 favorites of all time.
Okay. No real reason other than you just like them. No real reason,
just because I liked them. Number 3, the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom.
Oh, yes.
Hawk.
Yes.
One of those powerhouse tag teams that will stand the test of time, that just brought so much charisma and energy to the ring.
They did indeed.
And, with their shoulder pads and their spikes stepping up.
And they came to the ring with Sonny.
At one point, yes. LED 2000, I think it was called. Or LOD 2000.
Yeah.
So Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, my number 3. Number 2, Harlem Heat.
Wow, I haven't even thought of that name in years.
Mid-90s, early 90s. Mm-hmm. Booker T and Stevie Ray, his real-life brother.
Yes.
They were current-time WCW champions, and they were one of my favorites of all time. Once again, just full of charisma. They were mostly a heel tag team, but I think they played it very well. They did a nice job in every match they were in. Booker T was always one of my favorite single competitors, especially in WCW. So that's definitely my number 2. And you ready for my number 1?
Yes.
The Steiner brothers.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that kind of disappoints me.
Why?
Never was a Steiner fan.
Oh, man. Steiner brothers, without a shadow of a doubt, my favorite tag team of all time. Having Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, the brothers from Michigan. They went to the University of Michigan in wrestling. Scott Steiner at the time was able to do a Frankensteiner, which is basically a backflip hurricanrana on opponents. One of my favorite moves of all time. But Steiner brothers, for me, when it comes to tag teams, they were the it factor when it comes to tag teams.
Okay, now my turn. Last week, you may recall, you asked me to come up with the 3 top factions of all time, and I came up with 1.
Yes, you did.
I'm going to redeem myself because this week I have 4, my top 4 tag teams.
Yeah, of course you don't follow instructions.
No, of course not. In number 4, I would pick the APA.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, that was a good group. I enjoyed the idea of the angle of them being mercenaries and for hire and stuff like that. Okay. The next 2, these are classics, and quite frankly, you and I were talking before we began the show that we intentionally did not compare notes.
Correct.
Because I thought for sure you and I were going to duplicate one of these 2, so I'm kind of surprised we did not. But my next one, the Von Erichs.
Oh.
The Von Erich brothers.
Well,
I mean, that was such a landmark. And I know you could say, well, no, that's a faction because we got a whole family.
Yeah.
But they did have, the two brothers that tag teamed up a lot. And that is for whom I am referring. And that leads me into the tag team that comes in next because they actually battled these guys a lot. And that would be the Freebirds.
Love the Freebirds.
The Freebirds I think they are probably one of the best tag teams of all time. If not the best, just because of what they were able to accomplish. And of course, the big guy, the Freebirds, the
Michael P.S. Hayes.
Thank you. He's still active in wrestling. He works behind the scenes for WWE.
He's one of the
right
main
now.
writers.
Yep. So he still has his hand in it, big time. And now I got to meet them, got to work with them because when I was with the WCCW, that of course was one of their big stars that they had. Of course, WCCW wasn't the only promoter they worked for at that time.
Was he as big of a prick as people say he was?
Oh, even bigger.
Oh, okay.
Even bigger. Cause my introduction to Michael was, I was backstage looking for, the stage manager, and I opened up the dressing room, knocked on the dressing room door and opened it up, and there are the Freebirds sitting there on the table. I didn't respond like a fan because they didn't like you to do that. But even though on the inside I was going, oh, goody. But I just looked and I said, hey, do you guys know where so-and-so is? I forget who the guy's name was. And Michael got up, walked over to the door, put his hand on the door, and he said, no, then tell him I told him to kiss my beep. Yeah, and he just, boom, slams the door in my face, and I walk off going, yep, those are the Freebirds. That's who that is. He was a star, and if you forgot it, he would be the first there to remind you.
That was actually one of my first memories of wrestling is when being, from what my mom told me I was 3 years old, and I don't remember much at 3 years old, but one thing I do remember is going to a wrestling event and seeing the Freebirds live.
They put on a great show.
That's the only thing I remember. 3 years old. I don't know how in the world I remember that, but that's a lasting impression in my mind is actually seeing the Freebirds in the ring.
Name the non-wrestling move that Michael P.S. Hayes was famous for doing.
Oh, gosh. The belly flop? I don't know.
No, non-wrestling move.
Non-wrestling move?
Yeah.
The pelvic thrust?
And we're not even going to get into why that came to your mind. No. The moonwalk.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, the moonwalk. That was one thing he did all the time. Not well,
yeah,
but he did it all the time. And he was okay, but I mean, Michael Jackson had nothing on him. Okay. Now I said I picked 4. That was the top 3. And I'm so glad that you made that, qualification when you began yours, that these were really not based on anything like statistics or fan rapport or anything like that. These are just people that we like.
Yeah.
Because on my number 1 tag team list of all time, really their name just says it all. The Bella Twins. Now, if you have to ask why, well, there's just not a whole lot I can do for you. I mean, if you don't know who I'm talking about, Google them, look at their pictures, and you'll go, oh, I get that. Yeah. The Bella Twins.
Folks, it's been nice being able to bring this show to you.
That's so
I think our credibility just went out the window there, WB.
Well, I don't know. I mean, come on. When, excuse me. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, that was a little shallow and single tracked on my part.
They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous.
But that's what wrestling has become.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, come on. This is the first time WWE and WWF, the first wrestling promoter to regularly have their divas featured in Playboy, for goodness sake.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's no big secret on what kind of audience they're going for there. They're going for people just like me. That's it. So my number 1 tag team of all time, the Bella Twins, for what I think are obvious reasons. I got 4 good reasons, but we'll go into that on another show.
Different show, different day.
This is the quickest 30 minutes I've ever had in my life, outside of my last date. But this is the quickest 30 minutes I've ever had.
How did your independent wrestling go?
You don't want to know.
Okay.
You don't want to know.
All right, just check.
She called me up the other day. She said, hey, there's nobody home. Why don't you come over? So I got dressed. I went over. There was nobody home.
Oh, life.
I get no respect at all.
SCI_wrestling, YouTube, SCI Wrestling, and Facebook. Follow us, Squared Circle Insider Wrestling.
By all means, check us out. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. going to have this episode posted up just as soon as humanly possible. So we will see you next week right here on a computer near you for SCI Wrestling.